Hey, how are we doing, guys? Great here, and today we've got our quarterfinals game of the APA. We're going to go Jesse 504 and his Ann Arbor Accelgors in what is kind of a rematch, sort of, not really, because he has a different team, we have the same team. Yeah, so the way that APA works is that you draft your 3 teams throughout the season, and then for playoffs you pick your favourite team from that lot. I went with my 3rd team because it was the only team that I drafted. And as much as I enjoyed the 2nd team, and I probably could have made the 2nd team work, I decided the 3rd team was just, it was clicking buttons and it was working for me. So yeah, I stuck with it, whilst Jesse went for, I believe this is the 2nd team. I think nobody went with their 1st draft. I could be wrong on that, but I think like majority just went for their 2nd draft for whatever reason. Maybe they just felt that was their best ones. Obviously they felt that was their best ones, goes without saying. But yeah. This matchup was kind of scary, but as you can see, it's going to be on Showdown. The reason being that we couldn't really find a time in which both of us were free and able to access or be able to set up their Switch and all that sort of stuff. So unfortunately we end up having to play on Showdown, but it is what it is. Sometimes that's just how it works. I know with LAN being an issue at the moment, there's quite a lot of games that are being played on Showdown. LAN wasn't the issue here, it was more of a scheduling thing. I'm actually going to put this in dark mode. Does this help at all? Oh, that looks so much better. I mean, I hope we're keeping this in dark mode. I was like, I was lit for that first part. That's just so much nicer on the eyes. Yeah, I've lost my train of thought, so yeah. Make sure to go check out Jesse, his link will be down in the description below. As well as all the other coaches for the APA this season. We've had a great run. We are currently 9-0, and if we don't win this game, it's, you know, we've had a great season. That's the thing I'm going for. But this is going to be a post-com, going to be Showdown, completely scuffed. We'll go ahead and it's the music on. The music is on. I'm turning the music off because that shit's scary, like genuinely terrifying when it comes on. I don't remember this game particularly well. I'm going to put this on slow. Actually, how slow is slow? Oh, it looks quite slow. So yeah, I lead off with my kind of designated lead is going to be Lycan Rock. I should have already gone into the team a little bit, but I honestly don't remember it too well. That game happened a couple of weeks ago, but I've been ill, and I'm still a little bit ill. I've got a bit of a croak in my voice still, but certainly better than I was when I played this game, that's for sure. Yeah, I lead off with the Lycan Rock. I don't expect him to want to stay in and potentially take like a Life Orb, Sucker Punch, or a Sucker Punch in general, in all honesty, because if I'm able to set up rocks afterwards, then he will be dying in like 2 hits. If it's Life Orb, Sucker Punch, it has a chance to just drop depending on his investment. So I didn't expect him to want to stay in, and because of that I decided I'm going to click the Swords Dance as he actually stays in and just brings me down to my sash. So yeah, the first turn really not played particularly well. I do go for the Sucker Punch here just in case he thinks that he's safe to stay in. And here I make a unnecessarily risky play. Like in hindsight, this was completely unnecessary, but because I'm set up a +2, I think that if it's physically defensive, the way he's brought it in makes me think this is probably physically defensive because he does have a whole ass Toxpex right there as well. So Tangrowth seems like it's probably his main switch into this, and then maybe Toxpex is especially defensive. I would assume with things like Spectria around, there's a strong chance that especially defensive. I also have a Tapu Fini, which is probably the reason Toxpex is there to begin with, and the reason why my Tapu Fini isn't in this game at all, because Tapu Fini cannot touch Toxpex because it can haze to prevent any kind of stored power shenanigans. It can gunk shot me, it can do all sorts, but I cannot touch it in return. So yeah, that's the reason there's no Fini, specifically because of that mon. There was other things that it was actually pretty good against. I kind of wanted it for the Weavile, but I decided in the end I would try and bait the Weavile in. I'm like discussing my team build halfway through the 2nd turn. Yeah, I decided to try and bait the Weavile with my Spectria instead. I had priority on Lycan Rock, I have priority on Diggersby, I want to say. I think I've got Quick Attack on it. I don't fully remember my Diggersby set, I'll be completely honest. But I know that I'm like Life Orb Urshifu. I am Life Orb double kick Spectria with Carmine as well to try and bait in the Weavile. Jirachi is Shaka Kasib, one of those berries. It's a berry. It's especially defensive, I think, as well, to try and have a switch into the Lati. Diggersby is a Diggersby. I think it's banded. I could be wrong. And then we have Specs Toxtricity, because Specs Toxtricity is just a menace. Let's continue on with this. I actually switch out, expecting him to be Rocky Helmet and potentially go for the Synthesis. He could have just clicked Earthquake, and honestly, like, Earthquake was a fine play. I have literally no ground switching on my entire team. But fortunately, he does go for the Synthesis, expecting me to attack and just try and get damage off. As I double out on the expected Lati switching, and here I just don't expect him to want to stay in. I go for a Sucker Punch. Perhaps I should... Okay, so apparently I did expect him to stay in. I think because I misplayed so badly on those first turns, I was a little bit cautious. Currently at this point I'm a little bit cautious. I know switching into Toxtricity on a potential Earthquake was not cautious, that was just dumb. But I did what I did. No regrets. Switch out into Jirachi on what was pretty obviously going to be, I think, not an obvious Earthquake, but there was a higher chance of him going for, like, I guess, a Focus Blast or a Giga Drain. So the Earthquake trying to predict maybe like the Toxtricity to come in on one of those. That's a fair play, especially because I brought Toxtricity in before. But the crit kind of sucks, not hugely. He brings in the Tox Specs, so I just go for a U-turn. It's not Rocky Helmet, which makes me think that it's probably just going to be specially defensive. Do you see an item? We do see an item, Black Sludge. But this gives me free Toxtricity. Anytime that Mon comes in, is free Toxtricity. And this Overdrive is going to do 64% to an Aegislash in shield form. So yeah, broken Mon is broken. I'm just going to click it again, no reason not to. 39% to a Latios. That's a resisted hit. And I'm pretty sure that's AV. I could be wrong, but I think that's an AV Latios from taking that little from a resisted hit. Let's go for Mystical Fire. Good prediction on me switching out. There was no way I would try and stay in there. As I bring in the Spectrier, and at this point I'm just going to click Calm Mind. I don't see a particularly great switch in on his team. Spectrier does kind of just run through this team. Outside of the Tox Specs, should it be... well, he doesn't know my set, so if I was Specs, I guess potentially his Weavile takes 2. I would think from his build, this Weavile more than likely has a good chance of taking 2 Shadow Balls from Specs or something along those lines. So he's happier to switch that in and get the offensive momentum, because I do not have a Weavile switch in. Pretty much just straight up don't have one. So yeah, him trying to get the offensive momentum. I just actually go for Calm Mind, thinking whatever doesn't want to take a +1 Shadow Ball. And I am EV'd to be able to knock out this Weavile with double kick. The bait works, the Weavile is down, and that's honestly one of the biggest threats to my team. We get up to +2, as he doesn't really have a great way of revenging this. He goes into Tokus, and I switch. I switch expecting the Thunder Wave. There's not a lot this can do to my Toxtricity anyway, so it is a kind of free Toxtricity again. And let me just take a drink. Yeah. There's not a lot I can do unless it's running a Psychic move, and I don't think it's running a Psychic move. I think it's extra sensory it gets. Maybe it gets Psychic as well, actually. But I'm pretty confident there he's just going to go for a T-Wave. Turns out he went for Dazzling Gleam, which I guess he was trying to put it in range of Aegislash's Shadow Sneak. Makes a lot of sense, but I was too scared of getting paralyzed once that thing is paralyzed. It doesn't deal particularly well with the things that it should. More so the Lati here, which I, at this point, think that he's not going to stay in with his Togekiss. Like, there's a strong chance he doesn't stay in and just sacks it off. I think he kind of still needs it for the Urshifu if that is his designated switch in. Could be Tangrowth, because Tangrowth is just physically defensive. It's a very bulky mon. He has also switched in Pex, I think, on it as well. So he has 2 other mons that maybe he wants to switch in. But regardless, I think he wants to keep Togekiss around for now. And mainly as a ground resist, because he is... no, actually, what am I talking about? He's got all the ground resist at the moment. I don't know. I guess... Who knows? I just expected him to want to switch, try and get the offensive momentum. So I click Snarl on this turn, and I'm able to pick off the Latios. And this puts me in a great spot. Realistically, he doesn't have anything that outspeeds and is able to take multiple hits from my Toxtricity now. Nothing outspeeds at all, outside of a speedier Togekiss. And even then, the speedy Togekiss is not able to do too much to me. He's already kind of not revealed that he can't do anything to me. But I'm assuming at this point it's probably going to be like Fire Move to hit the Jirachi. It's going to be Dazzling Gleam because he's shown it. Potentially Air Slash and then Roost. Don't know what the other move will be, but I do expect a fire move for Jirachi because there's no guarantee that Latios is going to be able to deal with it. So yeah, now Toxtricity kind of goes wild. I just can't get Earthquake effectively. Like, the only thing I can't do is get Earthquaked. So I'm just going to go into my Urshifu and just try and weaken this Tangrowth. At this point, Urshifu has one job, and that one job is to try and just whittle down this Tangrowth, like put it in range. But unfortunately, he is just straight up going to be able to 1v1 my Urshifu with Tangrowth without taking any damage. Surprised he didn't go for a Synthesis there, but maybe he thought I wouldn't be willing to just sack my Urshifu like that. Because like the Synthesis was incredibly obvious, so that's what I thought. Is just the Synthesis is obvious. If you click Synthesis, you click Synthesis. I then go Spectrier. Spectrier, it's already proven that it pretty much just claims the kill every time it comes in. If he doesn't click, if he clicks Giga Drain, whatever, he'll be in range of Overdrive because Overdrive is dumb. And judging off that damage, he is like fully Fizz Death, or near enough fully Fizz Death. So yeah, I'm just going to go into Toxtricity. This pretty much is a free kill. He has to pick a sack, and that sack is going to be Tox Specs. I think this Tangrowth, even when it comes back in, it becomes a roll of whether it's not going to knock it out, but I have no reason to keep this in. I am just going to sack another Mon. This Tangrowth is the only thing now currently stopping my Mon from doing damage. I expect him to go back out into the Tangrowth, so yep, I go out into my Diggersby for some unknown reason. I think now I'm going to sack off Lycanroc. I definitely sack Lycanroc here. Yeah. Basically, I just want to get something sacked so I can go into Spectrier and click Calm Mind again. And he goes back in Togekiss. I'm a little bit concerned, but at this point I'm far less concerned. I just Shadow Ball, I just hard Shadow Ball in case he goes out into Aegislash, I think. Because I didn't really know his set at all. It hasn't shown anything. So I think if he was like Adamant Banded, it could have been a problem. I'm just going to Calm Mind up on this. I'm putting myself in range of Shadow Sneak, but at the same time I don't really care. I just want to get rid of this Togekiss. I arguably could have just Shadow Ball twice, but I think it has the same effect, effectively, of I took less damage overall. A net loss, or less loss. That's a sentence. Yeah, so at this point, I'm pretty happy just to sack my Diggersby. I just need to get my Spectrier in against the Tangrowth, and again, I can just click Shadow Ball. So the plan here is just to get this as low as possible. I do unfortunately die to an Earthquake on my Spectrier, so I can't just go hard into it. Maybe there would have been the best turn to go. Maybe there would have been the best turn to go into my Spectrier, but at the same time, I didn't think it was ever worth me just going hard in Spectrier. I think it's better for me just to sack off the Diggersby at this point, because Spectrier Toxtricity should be able to do it. As long as I'm able to get this Tangrowth low enough, then I should be able to do it. If he switches out here, he puts himself in a position where... firstly, that fucking lived. Spectrier puts him in a position where if he switches out into his Aegislash, it dies. If he stays in and tries to get as much regen as possible, he's just going to take the same amount of damage and never is going to be out of range of Boom Burst. So his best play, arguably, is to try and preserve his Aegislash so I can't Boom Burst. Which, by the way, I was looking to Boom Burst this entire game, because Boom Burst always picked up a kill. But he kept the Aegislash around, he preserved that well to prevent me from doing that. Unfortunately, now he is just in range of Overdrive, even if he was to switch out. 14% plus 33 puts him at 47. It was doing like 50% min. So Toxtricity is just going to be able to clean up this game. And we are going to be Jesse 1-0. Toxtricity and Spectrier just putting in all the work as I fumbled around with the rest of my Mons. Didn't play well with Jirachi, didn't play well with the Diggersby, didn't play well with the not Lycanroc, but I did play well with the Spectrier and the Toxtricity, and that's, in the end, all that really mattered. But before I lose my voice anymore, I am going to wrap this video up pretty quickly. I'm not going to spoil who we play in the semi-finals. You have to go and check out their videos. We do play the winner of. Let me just look at the matchup, just to see who they were playing, if I can remember. We were playing the winner of. Is it JV versus Mid? I think that was the other game. I think that was the matchup that was. Yeah, because it was Chuckle King Emil, JV Mid, me Jesse, and then Mount A versus Shay. As you probably just saw that on the screen, now you get to see the league table. Exciting. Yeah, leave a like if you're enjoying the battle. If you enjoyed the battle. I'm tired. I'm ill. I have no voice. I'm getting to bed. Yeah, subscribe if you do enjoy. If you know what the like, subscribe, all that bullshit. I'm gonna stop fucking up my words and get out of here. Till next one. Have a great day, guys.